Hey. I said, excuse me, but you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, cross the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch, I'm back. Now I'ma run it up. Snooze on the kid, that you dumb or what? You better go get your numbers up.
Well, good evening, folks out there in the lands of lands. Welcome to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. We are live Monday night, April 21st, 2025, to discuss the second episode of the second season of the HBO series, The Last of Us. That's right, The Last of Us. If you're not familiar with that, it's a video game turned into a TV series that has had, I think, 3 or 4 different iterations now out of the game, with some expansions and all that kind of cool stuff. So if you have not seen that video game, you can watch the TV show and kind of get an idea of what it's about. So if you like zombies, this is the thing for you guys. Anyways, welcome tonight. Of course, we have a stunning panel with us tonight. Of course, I have my co-host, the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, Mr. Jeff S. TrueKnowledge. How are we doing, Jeff?
Sir, I am wonderful. It is wonderful to be in the year 2025. And, just happy to be covering the second season of The Last of Us, sir.
Excellent. Then, of course, as always, our newest member of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, and also sometimes moderator, mostly on the panel, Time Cop, Time Lord, the master of all commands, Mr. Andres Palcotra. How we doing, Andres?
Very good, Saber. Don't forget you moderated tonight, but this is great. Yeah, very excited to talk about this episode 2 of Last of Us Season 2.
Yes, and I'm glad that I get to moderate the second episode, which was far superior to the previous episode, thank God. And of course, we have also on the guest panel is Mr. Quinten, who comes from the Superhero Homies podcast. How are we doing, Quinten?
I am doing wonderful. A lot better now that I'm here on the podcast with you guys here tonight. Really looking forward to this. This is quite the honor for me. Glad to finally meet all you guys proper. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Excellent. Thank you. And we're glad to have you, sir. Glad to have you on and hear your thoughts, sir, on this amazing episode. And I've always, the MC Bleeding Edge always wants to send out positive vibes to all out there that we love you guys for watching us. And if you're watching us live, thank you for watching us live. And if you watch us later on, thank you for watching us as well. Now, so just to kind of recap with the last episode, just kind of want to get your thoughts, Quinten, since you weren't on the previous episode with us, sir. What were your thoughts on that very first episode of the second season?
Yeah, so just a little bit of backstory here. I'm actually I've played both video games when they came out, and I was a really big fan of them. I was a really big fan of the first one. The second one, it is what it is. But when I saw episode 201 of The Last of Us, I thought that it was, structurally speaking, I thought it was fine. I thought that they were really doing a lot to set up the groundwork, showing us more of Jackson, showing us more of Ellie's lack of relationship with Joel, and really how Ellie and both Joel have changed a lot. I thought that they did a lot of things structurally that were fine. I love the scenery. I love the sets. I love the aesthetics. Like, all of that is so in line with the show and so in line with the game as well. But I got to be honest, like a lot of other people, I thought it was lacking in terms of anything that was eventful. It really felt like I was watching almost a 45-minute cutscene from the video game with extra scenes in it, more so than anything else. But I mean, I thought it was fine. Like, if I had to score it, right, just hypothetically speaking, I'd probably give it a strong 7 out of 10. I thought that it was okay for an opener, but there was really nothing there to hook me if I didn't know what was going to happen. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's kind of my basic thoughts on 201.
All right, excellent. Thank you, sir, and thank you for that great insight there. For myself, as I mentioned before, I'd never played the games. I had seen the demos of it and stuff like that, and I wasn't too familiar with it. I knew kind of the premise of the games, but not much about it. So I'm coming from a non-video game viewing experience for it. I believe Andreas is too as well. I can't remember, Jeff. Did you play the games at all?
No, I've never played the games.
Okay.
I rely on other people that have played when they come out and all that. We'll have people on throughout the series that have played the games. But no, unfortunately, sir, I can't bring anything to the table when it comes to the games.
Excellent. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to re-verify that. So excellent. All right. So going on here, so just to kind of give people a thought process of episode 2, it's called Through the Valley, and it's called or it's directed by Mark Malad, and then of course it is written by Craig Mazin, who is the creator of the video game. So I think that's awesome that he's a huge part of the series being made. So that means a lot of it there will be some accurate stuff that were portrayed in the game. And from my understanding, this episode itself was actually pretty accurate to the video game, so that for at least certain portions of the episode. So I think that reading that fact and everything, I thought that I definitely saw the little bit of differences they made, but overall it was pretty accurate on how it happened in the video game. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, so Through the Valley, like, I think this episode was far superior to the first episode. I was actually really impressed with this. It had a lot of great things going on it. It was a lot about search and discovery. It was about killing zombies, all the good stuff I look for in a great zombie TV series or movie or whatever. And I think they deliver that in this episode with a really great action and really great, all over, killing of the zombies and the explosions and the kind of the ingenuity they're using to kill the monsters were really awesome too. So I have to give them super props for making this episode very action-packed and exciting. So that was a great, nice kind of reprieve from what we saw in the last episode, where it was kind of very slow and kind of boring. So I just want to go around the table first before we really get into the meat of the episode, just to kind of get your guys' thoughts overall on the episode as a whole. Just kind of give, like, going in from episode 1, what were you expecting from this episode? And I'll start with you, Andreas.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with Quinten and you, Cyber. Episode 1 for season 2 was, a decent opener. Just catching us back with the characters. I didn't know, as a lot of us were not video game experts, and I haven't really played the game of The Last of Us, so I didn't know about the time jump, and so I was surprised that we did the time jump. And yeah, it was slow and all that, and I didn't expect what we're gonna get for this episode too. I was like, okay, we're gonna see more, maybe the strained relationship between Ellie and Joe, right? And then where Abby and her crew will probably maybe like find Joe and like infiltrate like the valley, something like that, like similar to like the Walking Dead, like the Whispers, arc. If you understand that, what I'm talking about, that arc from Walking Dead later seasons, I was thinking somewhat that, but man, I did not expect it, really what they were going for, and I was so surprised. I thought this was the best like episode for The Last of Us, and really the best for television, like just wrapping up, I thought this show, like, one of the reasons that HBO is so good is like they create one single episode that all of us will remember in the time being because of just how good it is. And yeah, I agree with you, Cyber. This episode was so great. Great zombie attacks. Seeing the affected, jumping in and coming from the snow. I was very happy that we saw the kind of like smart, like affected. Like, it was so creepy when they were they were at the front of the valley, gates, but then it was so so scary when they were coming around there, and you see one of the like special creatures called the bloaters, if I'm correct, with that. You saw that big thing, and I was like, oh my god, and like he's gonna crash into like, oh my god, so spectacular. Like this, something like I miss from The Walking Dead is that kind of big attack from the zombies and whatever you want to call these creatures from Last of Us, the infected. But yeah, I was fairly enjoyed. I was shocked about the twist that we were going to get into later on. I knew that was going to happen, but I didn't know they were going to do it this early. That was this was level of Game of Thrones, like the White Wedding, where you're not expecting a major character death, and now it just for me personally, it makes this season more interesting to see, and where Ellie is going to take as a character, and same thing with Abby. Now I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with these characters. So yeah, so I was very happy. I thought I was going to go in this one direction for episode 2, but I was happy where they took us in this other direction that I was not expecting. So I was very happy.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you for that, sir. Jeff, same question, sir. Your thoughts going into episode 2 and overall thoughts on episode 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, in general, I never dwell all that heavily into, trying to, speculate, what exactly we're going to get from episode to episode with these shows. With The Last of Us, coming off episode 1, to kind of connect with off of Quinten, I felt like the first episode was a stereotypical first episode for a lot of TV shows. The first episode a lot of times is sort of a building block for a show in a way. It allows you to have an episode to step into a direction for the season in a way. You know what I mean? And so, it's hard, with those first episodes, you don't know what you're going to get sometimes. And we didn't get a lot in our first episode. So they kind of, did the time jump, reestablished the story in the first episode, and reconnected us with the main characters of the story, at least as we thought. And then, set things in motion, to where, I was very happy with where I saw things going after episode 1. Just because of the stuff that they showed us in that first episode, I thought looked interesting. New characters, it's always good to see new characters, on a show, right? New blood, new actors, new actresses, right? That's always positive. We got a lot of that so far in episode 1 and in the season. Episode 2 was great. Let's be honest, to piggyback off of Andre's, the people can say what they want about The Walking Dead, but The Walking Dead was a great show for a while. It was a great show, extremely popular, just very popular. And during its time, when it was building, when it first started, the momentum of that show and how popular it became was crazy. It really was. It took the zombie genre to all new levels that nobody probably could have ever predicted could even occur. In entertainment with that trope. But The Walking Dead was great. Sure, I fell off, on it like a lot of people did. Around the same time when everybody else did, I fell off. But I came back and reconnected with the show multiple times as a fan. I went back and watched throughout those last couple seasons to see what they were doing. Still with the show, and they were still doing some good things. And that trope, that apocalyptic, America type trope is just it's fun. It's a great space to work with when it comes to TV. You can do a lot with that genre if you want to go in that direction. And I feel like, The Last of Us in the first season, they really centered the story on Joel and Ellie. That was the season. It was Joel and Ellie's show. I'm really hoping that in season 2, we're going to get more episodes like episode 2, where we're going to see more of the infected being in play and being a part of the show. Because the reason I mentioned The Walking Dead is that let's be honest, when it boils down to it. In The Walking Dead, it's just like with the Netflix Daredevil. There was that balance in The Walking Dead with the violence, the dark, gritty violence, and then the characters and the story, right? And they always gave you some of each in each episode. but there always was the violence and the killing of the walkers and all that, you know, and that was fun to watch. It was, and it's fun when The Last of Us goes in that direction. I enjoy it. You know, these infected are very interesting. You know, the different stages of the infection and all that. You know, the fact that they have different stages. You know, not just one deal is interesting. You know, there's different layers to it. You know, the fact that they can spread through the roots. You know, in pipes and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, it's interesting. It is. It's pretty deep. You know, so I like them going to that direction. And you know, they've already displayed that they can do good human stories, you know, on the show. You know, when people interacting with other people and killing other people and stuff like that. I like seeing the infected being a big part of the show. And hopefully that will continue throughout the season. I really do hope that they stay in that direction. You know, because you know, it makes for good entertaining television, you know. You can't have big, drawn out battle type episodes like we had in episode 2 in every episode, unfortunately. But I do like seeing the infected being a part of the show, like they are in episode 2, and The Last of Us is a deep show. It has a lot of interesting characters working for it. You know, it's established a pretty good center. So yeah, I liked episode 2. I thought it was very enjoyable. It's sad to see a main character get killed off, you know, but it happens, right?
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Great job, everyone. All right. So like I said, this episode just dropped yesterday, April 20th. Yeah.
You never went to Quinten.
Okay. Yes, I'm getting to him. All right. Sir Quinten, same question, sir.
Yeah. I mean, in your defense, I don't have a whole lot more to offer than Jeff or Andres. I mean, those guys' breakdown was pretty on point for mine as well. Just a few other things that I've noticed about this episode that I really thought stood out in a good way, and maybe some things that I think I didn't enjoy as much, just to kind of lay the foundation as to why that might be. First of all, Craig Mazin directing this episode is peak performance, because he's a phenomenal filmmaker, or showrunner, I should say, and director. I don't know if you guys have seen the show Chernobyl, but that's where I first got my introduction to Craig Mazin. And he was the showrunner for that. And like, knowing that, you can really see his influence throughout the Last of Us TV show. And it was actually Neil Druckmann who's the game creator, but he's also working very closely on this show as well. And his influence is also undeniable within this show. Episode 2, I have to try my best to judge this episode on the face of it as it is, and try not to judge it based off of how I feel things could go, if that makes any sense. But I think that episode 2, I mean, it's not saying much. It is definitely the best episode of the season so far. They add a lot of really cool elements to this thing that really just makes it pop even more. I thought that the invasion of the infected on Jackson was just amazing. Like, visually, I thought it was stunning. I love seeing how they got so many of these infected in one area, and like the effects they used on that was just top notch. I thought like their budget was really well spent on this episode, from the guys, and even like their whole game plan. How they had different plans for raiders versus infected, and I love how they had like their fortifications and their defenses, and how they used their weaponry. But man, there were just so many. It was still just, I mean, what can you do, you know? So that was just an amazing battle that they had there. And I actually didn't see that coming. I haven't played part 2 in a few years, but I think for the most part, that was kind of a new interpretation that they added in. And so that was an interesting bit of flavor for me even. As far as like, the big reveal goes, I was waiting for this because it happens very early in the game as well. And, what I liked about it was the accuracy. I mean, even down to the dialogue, they lifted directly from the game, and that kind of faithfulness I always applaud, especially as a comic book guy. Whenever I see a comic book movie, I always applaud when they do direct nods to characters or moments or scenes or whatever. And it's the same thing here with this episode from the Last of Us video game to season 2. I guess the things about this that not so much that I dislike, but that I'm worried about is that Joel was kind of one of the last few really competent, likable characters from The Last of Us Part 1. And one of my issues is when I move forward to Part 2, again, like not spoiling anything for anyone out there who's watching, but one of my problems with Part 2 was that everyone else seemed to be either an idiot or an asshole. Everyone. And I fear that for this. Now, I think that if Neil Druckmann were in charge of this series alone, it would go that way. But I think that Craig Mazin is so good that maybe he can steer this thing and do something with these characters to make something better. So I'm very interested to see where we go with Abby. I think that the actress who plays her is doing a very good job. Especially considering she's about half the size of Abby from the video game. But, that withstanding, she's trying to bring that personality. Bella Ramsey was phenomenal for me in season 1 because she always looks like a child. The issue is that she still looks virtually the same, whereas I need her to be able to tap into that really fearsome, scrappy mode, or else the eventual confrontation between Ellie and Abby is going to be real awkward if those two can't bring out that kind of viciousness that we need. But overall, though, I'm really just nitpicking. I thought that this was a really solid episode of television, and I had a really good time with it.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. So now that we got everybody, my bad. Going on to the actual episode itself. So basically, we start off after taking shelter at a mansion near Jackson. Abby remains steadfast in her mission to kill Joel, while her friends, concerned about the town's security, consider retreating. While scoping out Jackson, Abby accidentally awakens a large horde of infected underneath the snow. So we'll stop there. We go any farther than that. But basically, in that beginning section there, we get kind of the gist of Abby and kind of her cohorts and kind of how they're feeling and everything like that. About their scouting. We get kind of a brief interlude of Ellie and the one dude there. I can't remember his name, unfortunately. And basically them kind of having a conversation. They're like scouting out together and stuff like that. He kind of confronts her about kissing Isabella Merced's character and all that kind of stuff. And we have kind of that happening in this section 2. And then, of course, it basically leads up to Abby walking out in the snow and sliding down the mountain and walking through that supposed dead patch of the infected. And it basically all of a sudden underneath there's a whole bunch of live. So it's kind of like, what the hell? So I want to get your guys' thoughts kind of that beginning section, I feel, leading up to when the infected get awakened. So I'll start with you this time, Jeff.
Yeah, what was the deal with all that? Like, are they trying to say that the fucking infected somehow are able to burrow underground or something like that? Is that what they did to get to where they were at? Like,
yeah,
that's what it looked like, right? They were in the ground, weren't they? So they actually were able to travel and burrow under the ground or whatever, and come out of the ground essentially because of the cold, right? That's what I thought was going on. So that was deep. The Merced character wasn't even in this episode, she disappeared for this episode, right? She wasn't even there. I thought that
she was there.
Oh, was she there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's the one riding with Joel.
Oh, okay. That's her?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so she is there. Okay. So, all right, well, my bad. Strike that then. So, I mean, the introduction of the episode is kind of a slow burner. You know, it's not like, you know, it's kind of a build up, you know, in terms of the pace and all that, right? You know, the episode really leans towards the end of the episode, you know, like towards the middle is when it really gets heavy. But I do very much enjoy you know, the new characters. I like Abby. You know, even though she's obviously like very you know, evil, you know, potentially. She's an interesting character to see on screen. Like you know, it's a good addition to have that Fireflies, you know, component of the story in this, you know, in this season. I hope they maintain it in some way, you know. You know, which I'm sure they will, you know, bring that back around in some way. But you know, it's pretty much you know, kind of just a whatever kind of build up, you know, like you know, sort of style in the beginning of the episode, you know. It just kind of brings us back to the main characters again, you know, right off the bat, you know what I mean? It checks us back in with the city, with the community, you know, and gets us back in touch with Abby and the Firefly people, you know what I mean? It sets them back, you know, reestablishes them again in the show, right? And seeing Abby fall down that, you know, that hill and all that kind of shit, like, was interesting, you know, like, I thought that was cool. Her stumbling on the infected the way she did, and like, you know, discovering that they're all there, that, you know, her getting chased. That scene where she's pinned up against that fence and it's pushed, and the infected are pushing against it, and she's like forced down to like on her hands and knees, like, you know, in one little, you know, like path to kind of get by, was really cool. I love that scene. That was fun to watch. The infected are very scary looking. They're very menacing, but like, you know, like as you know, as a force, right? This is our first time really seeing them as a group working together, you know, like that, like this, at this scale. So it's fun to watch. And yeah, I mean, you know, the little bit of like, you know, conversation that we got with you know, Jesse, you know, and Ellie and all that, you know, them talking about the, you know, what went down at that, you know, party and all that, you know, and everything was nice. Like, you know, was good for the overall arc of the story, you know, like for the characters, it was good service. You know, for that, you know, seeing that reestablish and reconnect with episode 1 like that, I enjoyed that. It's obvious that Jesse's going to be a major character of the show, you know, so I'm liking him so far. And yeah, that opening, you know, I guess, you know, third of the episode is kind of just, you know, very watchable, but not super exciting or anything like that.
Okay, thank you. All right, Quinten, your thoughts, sir, on that portion of the episode leading up to the awakening of the infected?
Yeah, I thought that it was overall a very effective use of their screen time. I had to kind of disassociate certain things because in the video games there actually are no root systems. Like there are no like
Yeah.
the tendril things. Like that's not really a thing in the games.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, and I would cut you off quite a bit. Of the games, the spores are in the air, and,
Yes.
and you get infected through the air through breathing them or whatever. In the game, in the show, it's different. The way you get infected by like getting bit or like, you know, scratched or something like that in the show.
Yeah, and you know in the game they can also infect you that way as well. But like, you know, from what I understand, the reason for the change is just because like spore clouds work better in a video game. You know,
It's a style thing.
it is, and you know it, and also like you can't really contain spores. You know, in reality, like they wouldn't just linger in one area and then skip a spot and then be in another area. You know, so what they did for the TV show is pretty smart, in my opinion. And I guess like if you're really into the pseudoscience, maybe makes more sense in the TV show that they have like these whole tendril kind of hive mind connection things going on. And it also makes sense as to why, you know, the infected all over the place would start to rise at the same time because they're all connected to the same kind of root system. So I thought that was you know, it was a really cool touch how they used their own spin on their own lore to kind of explain how and why these zombies are starting to, kind of come about at the same time. I thought it was a good scene for building the tension, and yeah, at this point in the episode, I'm digging it because the pace has already picked up compared to episode 1, and I can tell that we're going somewhere.
All right, excellent. Thank you, sir. Andres, same question, sir.
Yeah, I thought the opening was really great. I like how we pick up and solve some of the dramatic stuff from episode 1. Obviously, I gotta say the new characters. I think this episode I really care more about the new characters than the first episode. I thought this episode did a way better job, particularly Jesse. I was like very concerned about that because it's gonna be this like teen drama, like oh my god, like CW kind of crap that like we all watch, either the Arrowverse or Riverdale or whatnot. And then the moment when Jesse say like, "Oh yeah, I know you, I already know you kiss what's her name, Diane,
Dina.
Dina, thank you," and he's like, "Come on, we need to go because." Tommy's wife wants us to come to the bar, the location they're going to meet her, and right there I was like, oh my god, he's not my favorite character. Just like the Ray there was great. You just he like yeah he still is in love with her, but he's not this like douchey character like from like a teen thing like over like he's a very much open person, and I like that. And it was so funny when Abby oh sorry, not Abby, I'm sorry, Illy was get the apology of that stupid drunk guy that's so religious, and it was a funny scene, and I thought that was like really cool. It was really cool to see. I don't I seen so many zombie movies. I can't remember if The Walking Dead did this or like tried to prepare people to like if there was ever an attack of these zombies, right? For our fortress, I see season 6 did that, right? Like Rick was trying to get the walkers away from the town, and
Alexandria.
Yeah,
Alexandria.
yeah, it was it was that situation where Tommy was
They
trying
had the big battle at,
Yeah.
at the end of the season or whatever, where they fought the dead when the dead came in.
Yeah, exactly. And here it reminded me of that. It's like, Tommy trying to prepare his town. Like if anything happened like that, because they know the affected are there in the area. And especially last episode, we got confirmation that they're getting smarter, which is kind of, which I was very happy this episode kind of really showed that, oh no, they are very dangerous. Like, even they're smart. Like that's like even like really bad. And so I kind of like that we saw that preparation there. But yeah, and then, getting back to the Abby and the whole like Firefly group, you see she's very determined of trying to kill Joel because of what happened, 5 years ago, with her. I don't think at that point we didn't know that was her dad, but if you know the games, that's the dad that was the doctor, right? And it was very interesting to see how her group were not into this plan, especially the one dude that's like, I don't know, like a friend of his, like he's saying like, you have a plan? Yeah, my plan is to get her back to the Seattle where the new military are at, which is Jeff Wright running. So I was like, oh wow, and they're like great friends you are, not supporting your friend that wants revenge of this guy that killed her, her dad. Yeah, but it was funny. She has to like look around and be outside, to like make sure there's no one's coming to their location. But it was like weird. It's like, why you want to walk around? Like just stay in that position, just like just look there. Like it's so stupid that she like run off, and it's like you're in the snow, that's dangerous. But whatever, it's horror trope 101. It's like, and then of course she sees she sees Joe and the other character, and then of course she slips into the pile of infected, which was really creepy. And then when that one, like I thought that one what do you call it, clicker was like moving, like he was like defrosting, but then it was like the ground was coming down. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then like seeing them coming off from the ground was like, whoa, I didn't expect that. It was great. And yeah, that scene where she was like going through that like abandoned factory, whatever, and like they were just coming like packing towards her with the fans was so creepy. Like, I'd never seen that before. Very invented. I know it's from the games. I just checked my notes, but that was so cool. Like, it was really frightening, and I thought it was so spectacular. And then, of course, she got saved by Joel, which was like kind of shocking. So yeah, overall, I like this opening. It just, I was like not expecting to see, like when I saw the snow, I was like, oh my God, we're going to get the horde of zombies now. I was like, oh, this is going to be cooking. So really, really good sequence. Very happy. Oh, and last thing, I don't know. Did we see Jesse and Ellie in that one abandoned like apartment, and they start talking about Eugene? That was another cool thing. I like that they were talking about Eugene because that's a major character we're probably going to see in the flashback, because we already met Catherine O'Hara's character that's from the game. That's really cool to like get somebody to know who his character is. I really like that. That was cool that he's like a former Firefly. He left, and then Joel killed him because I think he was affected. If I remember yesterday's episode. So I was happy that we got more of that, and soon we'll probably get a flashback of like, because they cast him already, played by Joe Pantanillo from the Bad Boys franchise, and of course the first Matrix. So as the husband of Catherine O'Hara, so I'm very excited to see him in the show. So yeah, great opening sequence, like got me hooked right away, and then I was like, yes, show me more,
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Good job. Good job. All right. So basically my thoughts on the beginning, just like Jeff said, yeah, it's definitely a slow burn to start off as, but definitely picks up once we get to with Abby and stuff like that, and going to the apartment and all that kind of stuff, and leading up to her awakening the infected, which really starts the episode getting into it and getting really good. And I think that, even though the beginning is kind of slower, it still is very enjoyable and very entertaining, and it leads up to really a lot of great fun. So that, I didn't mind the little bit of the slow burn into it, which paid off really well. So I thought that the beginning was a solid opening as well. So great job, everyone. Excellent, excellent. So Jeff kind of mentioned it a little bit about how he thought that, all the frozen infected there, like how the hell were they in the ground and everything. I just kind of want to go around the panel and get everyone else's thoughts kind of on that idea. Did you think that, they were dead and just, it was kind of like a graveyard, or did you think there was infected under there that were going to pop up? Or what were your overall thoughts when you first saw that going into it? And I'll start with you, pop culture guy.
I mean, I was kind of scared that they came out from that. That's typical horror thing. Like, it's like you think they're like, okay, like maybe they're dead and maybe they, like they're not there, but then something will come up, from the ground. Is like so typical horror thing. And again, I had to reiterate, last episode we saw one of the affected being smart. So they were smart to like use the dead bodies of their former, hive, right, to protect them from the cold. So it makes a lot of sense, and that's something like aminos do that, like, or if you're a survivor, you're going to use corpses or something to cover yourself with the snow, the snow, and be warm. So I think that's like such a clever way of these creatures to like survive at least and like come out from there. And it was a matter of time of someone making a noise. So just like Quiet Place, the Quiet Place franchise. It's like when you make that noise, they're gonna instantly get out, and that's what happened here. So it was like a very cool sequence, and I like that. Like I can put this together because I don't need like a dialect to explain to me like they're smart. It's like I already seen that from the first episode of season 2. It was like, okay, they are smart now, and this is what they can do. And then the fact that they hide, it's like very impressive. So that I love that sequence. It was like very scary for me.
All right, how about you, Quentin?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because on one hand, we have to remember that, back from season 1, episode 1 of The Last of Us, when we get the talk show segment at the beginning of this of the series, was an excellent scene. And it's when these two scientists are breaking down their theories on what could cause like a a global pandemic across the world, and we get the one guy who's talking about the cordyceps and like the whole fungal infection type deal, and he lays it out saying that if the cordyceps could ever evolve to survive in a slightly warmer temperature, then basically humans would be in trouble. So it shouldn't be that big of a stretch to understand or believe that we're however many years now into their apocalypse, they're going to evolve to learn how to adapt to the cold. And so they're going to figure out ways to survive, because that's what these cordyceps are all about. They're all about survival and spreading. And so I thought that was just a really kind of cool and subtle touch that they put in. And also, at this point, if you're a gamer, this is the sequel to the first game, and so you have to add something new. And so it's just a really cool way to add a new flavor to a video game while also keeping it in line with the story and having it make sense. So, seeing them begin to kind of evolve and like kind of rise from the snow, like they're laying in wait for prey. It's just a really cool moment there. It's a really cool visual, but it's just also important to remember that even amongst like the pseudoscience of it all, it does kind of track what they're doing. So I dig it.
Excellent. And did you have anything else you'd like to add to that, Jeff?
No, just that I find it interesting and somehow and somewhat like mystifying that they're able to burrow underground the way that they seem to be doing in the episode. I don't know. You'd think it'd be very difficult to like move the earth. You know what I'm saying? Under the ground, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like manually, and be able to like be mobile like that, right? So it's just very interesting that they're able to do that. I think it's pretty obvious that it has to do with the cold and all that. It's why they're doing that, right? It's because of the temperatures and how cold it is. I'm not sure where they're at in the U.S. Like what state they're in. I can't remember.
Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri Wambi or something. Missouri is that, and also they have heavy like snow, so it like the effect is easy can be under like the ground. Like it's like it depends on how tall the snow is, right? Yeah, that's a good point, Jeff.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting that they're able to do that. It's a nice quirk to kind of give the affected. You know what I'm saying? It's not from the games, I don't think. At all. They don't do that in the games, so they did that for the show.
Yeah,
that's good. I like it. We've talked about it before in the past when it comes to adapting these games over to this kind of medium. You got to change things and stuff like that. That's just part of the deal. It's just like when they did Halo, on Paramount Plus, right? Like, say what you want about that Halo show, any Halo show that anybody would make, there would be some give and take with the games and the show. That's just how it would be. You know what I mean? Like you can't have all of it. I think it's very interesting. The Infected are very interesting. That's all I'll say, Cyber, to end it. It's an interesting part of the show. It's not too deep, but how they're handling the Infected in The Last of Us is pretty dope.
Excellent, thank you. Good job, everyone. Thank you very much. I'll get 1 billion points so far right now. You guys are all doing a great job. All right. So just to kind of give my little bit of thoughts on that, like when I first saw them, I thought that it was like a graveyard of dead Infected. That was kind of my thought process. And I had no idea that it was going to start caving in and all of a sudden a live Infected were going to come up out of it. So that was kind of crazy. But at the same time, if you think about it, as we saw in the end of the last episode, we saw like infected stuff going through the pipes or the cable lines. And we'll see as we got into this episode too, we had that where the guy was chopping at a cable thing and he cut through some of the infected like material, whatever you want to call it, growing in there. And it like, grew and stuff like that. So, definitely the infected are more than just combined to the people, it's definitely there's something else to it too. So I think that's kind of interesting that, you know, that they wouldn't have that ability to be able to live underground too and burrow in. So, you know, after I saw that, I kind of go, oh, okay, now I can see that happening. But before that, I was kind of like, huh? I was kind of bamboozled a little bit. So I think that was kind of interesting. All right. Excellent job, like I said. All right. So moving on from there. Where we left off, basically, you know, we had Abby, accidentally awakening the large horde of infected hiding under snow. So basically, we go from there. She escapes and is saved by Joel on patrol with Dinah. The horde make their way to Jackson, leading to a battle where the town suffers heavy damage and casualties. So we'll stop there, talk about that a little bit. So what did you guys think about that section? The rescue of Abby, and of course, basically Joel falling right into Abby's hands. What's the chances of that? And then the great horde action we get here with the great battle. We have the barrels rolling and they're exploding and killing off. We get some really great explosions and body parts flying around, which was really awesome. Of course, we have one of those big, as I like to call them, berserker infected. That's like huge and humongous. That's like all plant looking material, getting, raging through the wood as we got. And then basically we have kind of like the battle inside the perimeter there and everything, and a whole bunch of people getting killed, a whole bunch of horde being killed. And, we see, of course, Joel's brother and his wife fighting and stuff like that, trying to kill off as many as they can using the torches and everything. And basically him having to confront that one berserker by himself, and he ends up frying it enough to kill it, which was really awesome. So I think that, the whole battle there mission is really good. So what are you guys' thoughts on that section of the episode? And this time I'll start with you, Quinten.
Yeah, so this is really where business begins to pick up here. And like, if you were asleep before, this is the part of the episode that wakes you up a little bit. So I'll go ahead and get, like, I guess my negatives out of the way. And that is, no matter how you slice it, whether it be in the video games or in this TV show, like the whole Joel and Abby meeting is just a little bit contrived. And I get it, right? Because they have to meet at some point in order for the story to progress. But just the way that it happened, it's just almost random happenstance. It's just a little too bit coincidental for me. But at the same time, I'm not going to knock it too much for it. It's you also have to kind of put your blinders on to the kind of man that Joel was, because Joel survived 20 years by himself, damn near, before he ran into Ellie. And so you have to forget about some of that when it comes to him letting down his defenses around Abby, and how things kind of progress from there. But for me, like, the real star of the show here was the Jackson scene, and like just the infected attack on that. Tremendous set piece. I don't know who they had for, like, their choreographer, their cinematographer. I don't know who they had there to help put all that together, but man, Craig Mazin did just a phenomenal job on that. It looked amazing, and you can tell that the people of Jackson had so many great defenses, but I mean, what do you do against something like this? And, seeing Tommy, like, I can definitely envision that there were probably a lot of people who thought that Tommy was going to bite it right here. I mean, the odds were against them. And it was it was also kind of funny because at one point when the bloater breaks down the barrier of Jackson and enters in, you see like two of the guys with the flamethrowers, they just turn tail,
Yeah.
And I don't blame you, but at the same time, where are you gonna go? But I thought that this was just fantastic, and I know we're not there yet, but like, even the aftermath of it, when we see them trying to assess damages and pick up the pieces, you see people who are bitten and handing their guns to other people so they can be put down. Essentially, it's so gruesome. Tommy taking out the bloater was the most video game thing I think I've seen in this season so far. He just got the health bar down enough so that it just collapsed at the last moment, But I thought that was still a pretty cool scene. And I also love the practical effects on the bloater. I remember watching a behind the scenes look at season 1, seeing that bloater, because at first I thought it was just a fully CG rendered creature, but there's actually a guy in a suit, and apparently the suit really sucks. But tremendous scene, lots of death and mayhem and destruction. And I mean, it was so emotionally impactful and equal parts visceral. I really love that part.
I agree. Yes, I that was my favorite part of the whole episode. It was fantastic, epic, action packed, lots of great gore, lots of killing, just all around fun. I was like ecstatic. I was sitting there watching it, going, "Yes, kill zombies!" I was like so happy. So I was just like, thank you for a good episode. Thank you. So yeah, I really enjoyed it very much. Going to you, Sir Jeff, your thoughts on that section, sir, leading up to the casualties of the Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely positive for the Fireflies, that Joel, just stumbles across them the way he does. You know what I'm saying? It makes for a very tension building sort of, type of TV, when you got something like that going on and you got Joel caught up like that, you knew it wasn't going to be good, that situation for him. And I like how they work towards it by having Joel save her first, from the walkers, earlier in the episode. It's nice. Interesting way for them to connect. Good storytelling, good writing. Seeing the dead take off and mobilize after they get set off, and take on the town is awesome. It's everything you can want it to be. Let's be honest. Anytime you see a horde of zombies or it's just like, again, like Walking Dead, when they had that big battle at Alexandria against the dead, it was awesome. That was good shit. I love Tommy in the show. He's great. Gabriel Luna's a good actor. I think it's pretty obvious that in terms of how far out into the the post-apocalyptic Earth America that they're in, that they seem to be pretty prepared. Honestly, overall, as far as their defense and all that goes, they were prepared, for a massive attack. That attack is fun to watch. It had very much had Walking Dead vibes in terms of anybody could die in this episode, especially during that part of the episode. You know what I mean? I thought Rita Wesley's character for sure was going to die, at one point. You know what I'm saying? But she survived, which is good for the show. I'd rather see her. I don't want to see a lot of characters dying, in one episode, that was fun TV. That was peak television when you saw that attack with the horde. Watching the guys run away with the flamethrowers, when the horde came in and all that, you know what I'm saying? The one infected that was in the one stage, the bloater or whatever, that was cool. How strong they are. They're super strong at that when they get to that phase and they're armored up. Seeing Tommy take that thing on, I thought he was a goner there for a minute. I thought for sure he was going to die. You know what I'm saying? So that was good. It was all very well done. Seeing them inject that chick with that, with that drug to knock her out was kind of out of nowhere. I'm like, really? I'm like, why are you doing that? And adding that to the, to the episode, that's another level. But I was all right with it. You know, it was okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at least they didn't kill her. You know, yeah, you know, it's a really great section of the episode. That's all I'll say. Right? It's a great section of the episode. Very fun to watch, and peak Last of Us.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Very poignant, very on point, sir. Very well done. A billion points for you, sir, tonight, too, as well. Added to your billion you already had. So everyone's got 2 billion right now. Just FYI, everyone's got 2 billion. Anyways, so moving on to the pop culture guy, or if you want to call him pop culture nerd, or if you want to call him Time Lord, Time Cop, you want to call him, you know, Mr. Itsy Bitsy, the next Toxic Avenger, whatever you want to call him, you can call him what you like. But what are your thoughts, sir? What's your thoughts?
Oh my god! Wow, the new Toxic Avenger. That's great. Yeah. I mean, oh my god, I love the sequence. I mean, as Jeff brought up before, like I'm like the zombie Sandra was like the thing that got me into horror, like particularly the 28 Days Later franchise. You know, especially the sequel, the 28 Weeks Later opening, where like you saw the herd of infected from that franchise. And like this was no different. When I saw like when one of the people from Jackson's like the herd coming from the snow, I was like, oh god, this is like reminded me of totally that, and like that the practical effects, the stunt work here is so spectacular. I mean, just can't believe it with all the explosions, the fires. Like, oh my god, just fantastic action sequence with these creatures, and yeah, I love the bloater. Very great creature design. I'm trying to remember. Was he in the first season? I thought we didn't see the bloater last season.
It was
It's
the
been
episode with Henry and Sam, the two siblings.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember now. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, like when I remember I saw that creature, I was like, "What is that?" Like it was like it reminded me. I don't know what horror movie it was, but it reminded me of like the Blade with the chubby creature, and like the baby. Oh, it reminded me of like Dawn of the Dead, one of that like lady that got infected from the remake from Dawn of the Dead. Like it reminded me of that. I was like, oh my god, like it's so heinous. It's just like crazy. Um, yeah, and I totally agree with you, Quinten. When Tommy had the flamethrower, it literally was like the light level like coming down. It's like you almost calmed it down. It's like, oh my god, every time I had to like beat up a bad guy or a creature from like a video game from my friends, it's like, god damn it, just die already. I don't want to like lose points. You know, it's like it's frustrating. I totally failed Tommy, and I was like, oh, thank goodness he survived because I love Tommy, and I mean, Gabriel Luna, great actor, love him as Ghost Rider, and it's just like, oh my god, fantastic casting for this show. And yeah, and his wife, I really like his wife. You know, she was great with the episode we saw her from first season. I was very happy to see her again, and I was like very worried about her. And you know, it was really good to see those two survive. As you know, Jeff said before, like I don't want to see good characters die like you know quickly. You know, I mean we're gonna get to, but you know, but like it was great to see those two characters don't die yet. You know, um, yeah, I, I don't know, like the Abby meaning Joel thing. Is it convenient? Yeah, it's convenient, but I agree with Jeff. It's a good story point with that. That was kind of really cool to right away. And look, you know, I mean, Joe was not alone. I mean, Dina was there with him, so like he had to be concerned like with her safety as well. So like, it just makes sense that his guard was going to be loose, no matter what. Like if you have someone, you know, that you know that's close to you, someone that you like and love, you know, you have to protect that person, you know, furthermore. So like it makes sense that he's gonna lose his guard, you know. If it's a stranger, it's like goodbye, sucker. I don't know you, so you're gonna die, you know. Like that'd be kind of very cool, but no, you know, if you know if it's Ailey or Dina was either there that with Joel, you know, like it will make him like lose his guard, and that's the one thing I'd say. I like that it wasn't Ellie, leading up to you know the thing with Joel. I like that it's Dina before you know Ellie comes into the next scene. Like I like that it was like those two, because it makes more of the heartbreak more sad when we get into it more. But yeah, overall great sequence. Love it. Love the zombie attack of the infected. I mean, they're improving so much of those creatures, because that was one thing I had to say that I didn't bring up. My nitpick was not seeing more of the creatures, the affected, the bloater, all that from first season. So I was very happy that this season we're seeing a bit more of that, which I like. So very fantastic sequence. I'm very excited to talk about the next scenes now.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Good job. Great job. 1 billion points for you too, sir. So everyone's tied at 2 billion points here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. You know, it's not a contest, folks, but I will pick a favorite at the end.
What? Come on.
Just saying here.
Is,
you know, we will have a favorite.
This is why I don't play
be
video
jealous,
games.
Andres.
I'm not jealous.
Andres.
This is why I hate video games, because of this. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, sure, okay, yeah. Don't be jealous if you're not the number one, sir. Anywho, so great job, everyone. Great talk about the horde. Great talk about the action sequences here, which was really fun. Yeah, and just like I was saying before, yeah, I definitely thought Joel's brother was a goner too, and Regina Weasley. I both thought they were goners as well during their sequences throughout this battle. I was like, definitely him, because that bloater was going after him. I was like, what an idiot. I'm like, oh god, this is not going to be good. And so, like, as soon as the bloater started coming around the corner, I was like yelling at the TV, going, dude, start flaming him already. Don't let him come even closer to you before you start flaming him, bro. I'm like, as soon as you see him barely coming around the corner, start blowing at him. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, in a video game, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be like, as soon as I'm like, and so I like what he like kind of stuttered getting into it. I was like, come on, bro. And so I was like, okay. So when he like makes his way back and he's like kind of cornered there, and the bloater's still moving forward, and then all of a sudden he pops over dead. I was like, okay, that I did not expect. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is good. This is good. I'm glad he was able to kill it. I'm like, great. I'm awesome. I was happy. I'm like, yes, you survived. But still, I was like, geez, that bloater didn't seem like he was going down at all. I was like, geez, how do you kill this thing? And so I'm thinking, why don't these people have more dynamite with them or stuff like that? Because that would be, especially for these big bloater guys, that would be ideal to have around these guys, because I think that would definitely stop them in one stop, you know, versus flamethrowing or shooting them, you know, maybe a little bit, kind of like the idea you guys had at the beginning of this battle sequence, you know, with the barrels of oil or gas, you know. I'm like, that's smart. So I was like,
they got a lot of guns, Cyber. They look prepared. They got a lot of guns.
They do have a lot of guns, yes, most definitely. But I mean, that's a lot of ammunition they're going through, especially with some of those. Like, I mean, the regular horde, like they were taking them out one shot in the head. I get that. That's cool. Yeah. But like like those big bloater guys, if you got even like more than one of those guys, imagine having 5 of them. Holy crap. That's going to be a lot of ammo. And who knows how much ammo they'll take to take one out. So I was thinking maybe have some dynamite with you guys too. But anyways, yeah, definitely lots of guns. All right. Excellent. All right, so moving on with the episode. All right, so after the horde action, we go back. Abby brings Joel and Dinah to the mansion, where Dinah is knocked out, and Abby reveals herself to be the daughter of the Firefly doctor who Joel killed at the hospital. She shoots Joel in the leg and brutally beats him with a golf club. Ellie enters the mansion, but is restrained by Abby's party and forced to watch helplessly as Abby fatally stabs Joel in the neck with the broken golf club's handle. We'll stop there before we get to the very end. So what are you guys' thoughts on this section? I mean, this scene, this was really unexpected at this very beginning of the season. Only 2 episodes in, which is really shocking. It's interesting, you know, this sequence too is crazy with how, Abby is brutal. Abby is insane. Like, she has definitely had this cooped up for way too long. And really shows no restraint whatsoever. And you're just kind of like, you can see the others kind of like going, Abby, you're taking this a little too far, lady. if you're gonna kill him, just shoot him in the head or something, you know, kind of deal. Like, if you want to kill the guy, just kill the guy. Don't. Why are you doing this? Like, is this really helping you out? Kind of deal. Like, you can see that in the faces of our other cohorts. And but I mean, just like shooting him in the knee, I was like, holy shit, you're making this prologue. Jesus Christ. I'm like, this is badass. And I'm thinking of something like this Abby character, she's one crazy mofo. I'm like, I'm interested in more of this. And then being played by the actor who was in just Last Man Standing with Tim Allen show. She played the youngest daughter, Caitlin Dever. I was like shocked seeing her play this kind of role because I was so used to her being in that show, and then seeing her kind of like this, be like this, and like action pack. I was like, holy crap, she can act. So I was impressed with her performance as Abby here. I thought she did a really good job. But I mean, when she starts kind of going, you don't know how long I've been waiting this, and then Joel's like, shut the fuck up and just get done with it. I was like, finally, Joel, you said something. Like, because as she's like crouched over, talk to him, I was like, say something, Joel. Just say fuck you or something. I was like waiting for it. I was like, come on. I'm like, what the hell? And but yeah, that scene was just crazy. And leading up, and then her killing him, I was like, I was so shocked that they killed him off so soon. I didn't know from the game that they killed him in the game. So for me, it was complete shock. Like, your biggest star, you're gonna kill off second season, second episode. I was like, holy shit, what are you thinking? So that was very surprising, but at the same time, very interesting. So hopefully it helps it out in the end with, you know, pushing Ellie to become more mature. But yeah, definitely crazy. So let's go around and get your guys' thoughts. Let's start with you, Jeff. What are your thoughts on that sequence?
I mean, I guess to bounce off of your thoughts, Cyber. Yeah, Abby's great. She's brutal, without question. The way that they handled the scenes with her and Joel. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, it was obvious that it wasn't going to be a good situation for him with the Fireflies, right? Once they got him, right? 5-on-1 or whatever, whatever their numbers were. The torture scene was brutal. Her shooting him with that shotgun and all that shit was crazy. Like, very surprising, like very violent, direction for them to go with the episode. Obviously, as a character, Abby is a brutal character. She is a, a vengeful, dangerous character, woman. And obviously, I don't think we're going to see her all in every episode of season 2, but she'll be back. I guarantee it. She's great. That actress is great. She does a great job with that character so far. Seeing the good guys of the city win against the dead, against the infected was great. Obviously there were a lot of losses, right? But they held the city, we don't know how often these swarms of infected are, what I'm saying? Like, we don't really know that yet. But I'd have to imagine they're somewhat infrequent, So like, I don't think it's going to happen all the time. You know what I mean? So good for them. They held it down, It's good for the show to see them do that. Great, end of the battle. The way that they released the dogs, and the dogs like turned the tide against the infected was crazy. I like seeing the dogs in there, like ripping throats out and all that shit. The Last of Us got pretty gory, pretty brutal in episode 2. Pretty gory, and I'm all for it. I love it. I like the violence. Crazy that they killed Joel off in episode 2, right? I guess that cast to the games, and in number 2, Last of Us 2 or whatever. That's cool. I'm sure the show will be fine. Like without him, I'm sure it'll be okay. But still shocking to see him go that quick in the season. But well done though. Good death. Good kill. I like seeing the way that Abby did it was good. No way he was coming back from that. You knew there was no resurrection. Once she put that fucking broken golf club up in him. That was it for him. seeing having Ellie show up like that, and get grabbed to him, that to watch him die and all that was cool. Good for the story, Now she's gonna want revenge for Joel, right? That's gonna bring us back to Abby later on in the show. So we like that. That's good. And great part of the episode, Cyber. Absolutely wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Mr. Andres, the pop culture guy, your thoughts, sir, on that section with Joel's death?
Yeah. So, I mean, so this was my first exposure of the game. As we came in before we live, I mentioned before with you guys that this was how I knew about The Last of Us, because of the whole commotion of Joel being killed right away in part 2. I was like, what was the big commotion of this? And I saw like the game through just this part of like Ellie and Joel being captured by the Fireflies here, and seeing Joel's death, which was very brutal. And and I knew, coming into the series, like at some point they're gonna kill off Joel, and I thought maybe this was maybe towards the end of season 2, or maybe like episode 5 is maybe where he'll get killed. Nope. When I knew when he was with Abby, I was like, "Oh, is this the episode he's gonna get killed?" And and of course he gets captured, and of course Dini gets captured as well, and she gets like put with sleep with the drugs, and then man, when Abby gets the golf club and like bash his leg was so brutal. Like I was like, what the heck? I don't think that was from the game, right? Like it was different. Like it's been a long time I saw that gameplay, but like very different. I thought this was much better, very brutal, and and I right away, like just like Breaking Bad, when like Hank was gonna die as well, like he tells Walter like, look, dude, they already made up their minds, and like I like how like straight, like, go ahead, finish your business, and then bam, he gets killed. Like I like how Joel is like, get over it, right? Like get like I just love that. Like it's like, come on, why you're taking so much their time to like kill him? It's like, just kill him already. Don't make this too dramatic, Abby. It's not like you're showing this to a bunch of audience in the theater or something like that. But yeah, I was just whoa, like that. And then when she starts punching him, like almost like Kingpin, like I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be brutal. And just seeing his face all bushed up, it's like, oh my god. Yeah, and it was just, and then, oh my god, Ellie getting up to the point, seeing the two horses, and then like she gets captured. Very. I like the kind of change they did here from the game, from to like she find Joe instead of being captured right away. So yeah, I really like that. I like how she pisses off was it Danny Remus from Top Gun, and the new Falcon from the MCU. That's great. So that'll be kind of interesting when she's gonna kill him. He's gonna have probably the brutalest death ever in the show, maybe, but we'll see. Yeah, it was so sad. And then like the fact that like Abby, stabbed him with the broken golf club. It was like, whoa. And yeah, I was not expecting that. Again, like what makes a great show is like you care about the character. You didn't want to lose. That's what happened this episode. It was so spectacular. I mean, the performances. I'm a big fan of this Bailey Ramsey, who plays Ellie. Like she's a great actress. I like how she plays the character. I thought this was the best performance she actually gave for this character throughout the season. I thought that was like she really like put her own here, and I was like, oh my god. And yeah, I love Pedro Pascal. He's having a great year this year. I mean, having this Fantastic Four coming out, and the A24 movie that's coming out soon. Yeah, he's such a big star now, and it's like it's gonna be hard for me to see him. Wow. I agree with Jeff. This show is going to be fine without Pedro Pascal, but like I'm going to miss him because he was such an iconic actor here that really brings this game to live action so well of Joe. So yeah, so it's going to be sad to see him go. And yeah, and the aftermath, seeing the Jackson attack was really cool. It was really cool. I was like, why is the wife going here? And then I see the dogs. I was like, what the dog's gonna do? Like they're gonna be affected. And then no, the dogs are actually way more like useful than us. Like, like they came in like by you, like I was like, oh my god. So now I'm like, no, I'm gonna tell my mom. I was like, we're gonna get a dog so that we could be safe for the zombie apocalypse one day because of that. Um, yeah, so it was great. It was also great not to see dogs get killed. I was happy about that. That's something I don't want to see, like the dogs get killed or get infected. So I'm happy I didn't see that. But yeah, I agree with Quinten. It was great to see also with the aftermath, seeing people who were infected, like telling their friends or whatever, whoever they were there, to kill them, because they didn't want to be like one of them, the infected. So yeah, overall the sequence was like the moment, like all of us were like we're very anticipated about Joel's death, and they really delivered this. I think it's better than the game. I thought it was way better executed than the game. Plus, it wasn't mean spirited because like compared to the game, it was much more like complex. There was like you understand where Abby was coming from, and then at the same time, you understand where Joel was coming from first season, why he did it, and it was handled way better, and I felt it was way executed better, and like the death was so shocking, but not like you know mean spirited in the way that the game did it in the way. But yeah, I thought that whole sequence was the highlight of the episode. I mean, all of us were excited to talk about this because it was like a big thing for part 2, and we were wondering when they were going to do it, and I was shocked they were going to do it episode 2 right away. You mute, sir.
Thank you, sir. Great job. I think a lot of us were very excited to talk about that sequence as well. I'm sure a lot of us are like, they killed Joel. But it is what it is. Oh well. Anywho, Quinten, your thoughts, sir, on that section?
Yes. I think this is where we part ways. I thought it was done just infinitely better in the video game than here in the show. For me, in comparison, here in the show, it felt not lifeless, and that's not a pun either, but it did feel watered down to me, just in comparison. It was much more brutal for me in the video game, much more cruel. And as a matter of fact, in the video game, you don't know at this point exactly who Abby is. Joel essentially finds out who she is and why she's so pissed at him about the same time that we do. And for me, that reveal in the game is played way better than telling us up front. Because that oh shit moment that Joel has, you as the player have at the same time. And why wouldn't we? Because we were playing as, well, technically playing as Abby right there. But still, we're witnessing, this same protagonist who we were just with for, 12, 16 hours in the first game. And now here he is about to be executed. So, I don't give the second game a lot of props in terms of its storytelling, but I thought that reveal was handled actually a whole lot better in the game. And then the death, again, I thought was just way more brutal in the game. For example, he's not stabbed in the neck with a broken golf club. He's just beaten over the head with said golf club until he's just no more. And Ellie is watching as it's just hit after hit after hit with this golf club until like his head looks like the kingpin had a hold of him, But I mean, that scene aside, I thought that still they got the point across, which is ultimately all I care about is can they get the point across? And they did. Where I'm curious about is this. It's important to remember that on behalf of the people who didn't exactly like the plot of The Last of Us Part 2, it has nothing to do with Joel dying. Ever since we saw the first trailer for The Last of Us Part 2, the video game, we all knew Joel was going to die. That was never the issue. The issue is the execution and how do you follow this up? And to me, that's kind of where it is a gradual letdown. Now, I think that they're going to do a lot more cooking with this show than the game did, because from what I hear, they actually have already been greenlit for season 3, and I think they're going to split the second game in half in terms of what happens. That may be wise considering the kind of turns and twists that they do with the story here. For me, it didn't work. It was an ineffective storytelling tool, but I think that with Craig Mazin behind the wheel, he can probably turn this thing and make it into something that's more effective for the story and doesn't think that the audience is so dumb or malleable. But in terms of like just this scene and how it plays out, man, I think that Bella Ramsey, she really does try to deliver like that heartfelt performance here, and it comes through in parts here for me. I think that there are segments of this performance that really does feel just you really feel her heart being ripped out. And then there's other parts where it just feels like, oh, this is Bella Ramsey acting like she's very angry and upset. And so it was kind of on and off for me. And maybe it's just because she's managing a couple things. She's trying to manage the accent. She's trying to manage, the emotion. She's trying to manage, just how Ellie's feeling at that time. So there's a lot going on, but still, overall, I thought she did a really good job. Um, I guess where I'm just so curious right now as to where the story is going to go in terms of this TV show. I'm curious to see what happens with Jackson and how they rebuild, and I'm curious to see exactly how Ellie is going to go about with her revenge tour. I think that it's going to be very interesting, and yeah, I'm going to stop talking in case I spoil anything, but I'm so interested to see your guys' reaction, how this show unfolds. I really am.
Awesome. Thank you, Quentin. Great job, sir. Great contribution, sir, there to this portion of the episode. Highly agree. I mean, like I was saying before, I think that, this was shocking, like I said, with Joel's death, but at the same time, it is a part of the video game, and the fact that they kept it kind of close to what the video game did was great. I've heard from what I've read and stuff like that after I watched the episode, and I thought, it was really epic, and I was sad to see this happen, but at the same time, I'm like, they're trying to do the whole game series within these 3 seasons that they're doing, so they got to go that way. So that's just part of the thing. So at the same time, it's kind of like Pedro Pascal. You're like, oh no, you're not going to see Pedro Pascal, and then they mention, oh, you don't worry, you'll see him in flashbacks and crap like that. So I'm like, okay, good. As long as we haven't lost him, that's great. I'm glad that he has still some to show. That's great. All right, so let's finish up this episode. So after the death of Joel, with the broken golf club into his neck, Ellie promises to kill Abby, and Abby's group leaves. As Jackson begins to recover from the battle, Ellie, Dana, and Jesse return home with Joel's body, and that's how the episode ends. So yeah, we kind of see them all kind of like they've killed off all the horde and everything. We see Joel's brother and his wife hug and embrace and all this kind of stuff. We see some people have been bitten; they have to shoot themselves in the head and stuff like that. So I mean, very, very dramatic, very very heartstringy. And then of course we see them leaving from the compound. Ellie and Jax, Ellie, Dinah, and Jesse, and then we see them pulling a body bag behind them, which is just like, oh no, this sucks. But anyways, let's get your guys' thoughts on this final epic moment of this episode, and just kind of what are you guys' thoughts? Did it hit your heartstrings? Did you like how it ended? And kind of just your overall thoughts on that conclusion of this episode. And I'll start with you, pop culture guy.
Yeah, I like this ending. I like the way it's very somber. I mean, I think they did a really good job of it. I mean, after that, it's like, what else you can do? I like that it was very silent. I agree with Quinten's like, man, like, what's gonna happen now after this? I'm like thinking about that, and it's just like that's a good thing. And I'm like, Yeah, like I'm so upset. It's like I want next Sunday to come now and just get to episode 3 and see what's happening. So I'm like very curious where we're gonna move forward now with these last 6 or 5 episodes left. Or I mean we had 7 episodes for this season in total. Um, but yeah, and I feel really bad for Ellie. Like the fact, like clever way to show us that yeah, Joe is pretty much dead. The body bag. I was like, oh my god, no, no. But I agree with Cyber. I totally forgot. Just talking. I was like, oh yeah, yeah. We've been discussing like we're gonna get flashbacks, and it's like, oh, we're still gonna have Petra Pascal. So my bad. But still, it's still heartbreaking. But yeah, I awesome ending. They made one of the best episodes ever for HBO and general this show. So I'm totally speechless right now.
All right, excellent. Thank you, sir. Got to give you a billion points there, sir. Great job. Very emotional. I felt your pain. Very well done, sir. Quinten, your thoughts on the ending, sir?
I think that the ending definitely did what it needed to do, and that is draw people in for the next episode. And it's really it was just a really strong ending in the sense that that is what creates must see TV. One of our beloved characters just bit the dust, and now we need to see how Ellie is going to go about getting her comeuppance. How is she going to get her revenge here? But also, how is Jackson going to recover from this horrendous event that just happened? And so there's a lot of questions right now. And the way that this episode ends off, it really has you wondering what will all of our protagonists and favorite characters do. And then you also have to wonder, well, okay, well, what about Abby and her crew? Like they kept true to their word. They just killed Joel, and then they went about their merry way. And I'm sure that nothing will ever happen with that ever again. And then they'll all live happily ever after, right? Uh, no, not at all, actually. Um, yeah, I think that this was again like there are moments that were just lifted directly from the video game. I mean, even just word for word, like line for line, it was very interesting to see how they did that here. But just seeing the finality of Joel was such a pivotal part of this episode because you can't give people that false hope. And if there's one thing that The Last of Us Part 2 does, is it does not give you any hope. And they nailed that for sure. Again, action was great, and the finality of this ending for this episode was incredibly strong, and I have to admire it.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Very poignant, very beautiful, very well done, sir. Very enjoyable. Thank you very much. Jeff, your thoughts on the conclusion, sir?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to retread, already, spoken for territory, from the rest of the panel. But I will just say that it was kind of shocking to see Joel in that body bag. I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, wow, like that's really ballsy and gutsy to kill off basically the one of the main top 2 characters of the show like that so quick in the second season. Very, big, that's a big, bold, action right there for the show. Obviously he'll come back in in flashbacks, right? I'm sure a lot, to where he'll still have a presence in the show, this season. But hey, sometimes, deaths, when they're done right, they can be really good for the story, in a TV show, or a movie. So, with main characters. So, it'll be interesting to see how they reconnect with the Fireflies later on, in the season. That was really interesting and great, ending sequence. To see them wrap up, the final, the big battle at the city and win, and then see them go back, with the body like that, great way to end the episode, I thought.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Awesome. Very well done, guys. Yeah, I mean, this conclusion is very poignant to, basically this latter section of the episode, the death of Joel. And so seeing them pull back a body bag was kind of like that, like the deafening blow, like Joel is dead. So it kind of like, I get it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, that sucks. But yeah, definitely Caitlin Dever knocked it out of the park for being insane at that end section. Well, beating him up. I was like, wow, what craziness. And how Joel kind of just took it like a man, like he knew it was coming. And I was just like, well, okay, I guess that's the way to take it. If you're going to take it, I mean, it's pretty manly. I think that's very, very well done on his part. And I think, Pedro Pascal was fantastic in the episode. He did a great job. And, yeah, I just have to agree with everyone. Very, very poignant end to this episode and to an overall great episode. All right, so going around, what rating would you give the episode 1 to 10? Starting with you, Jeff.
Honestly, this is probably a 10 for me, to be honest with you. I don't think it's that much of a stretch. A lot of big things happen in this episode. If there was any time to drop a 10, I think it's probably not.
All right, so a 10 from Mr. Jeff. Quinten?
Overall a great episode. I still had some gripes with it, but the pacing was better than episode 1. The action was here where it wasn't in episode 1, and they finally set up the plot. Can't be mad at any of that. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Excellent. Andres, what would you give it, sir?
I agree with Jeff here. 10 out of 10. I thought this was a fantastic episode. Much better than episode 1. I thought this really delivered on the action, the expansion of the universe, and the character, development we have with these characters moving forward. So that was very exciting, and I didn't have to wait. So that was good.
Wow. So 2 10s and an 8.5, and I'm going to give it a 10 as well. This was absolutely fantastic episode. Exactly what I was looking for from a episode of The Last of Us, and really superb storytelling here, and just really great by everyone in it. Really great episode. So I have to give it 10. So 3 10s and an 8.5. Wow. Really solid episode there, folks. So that is it for this episode recap. I want to thank everyone for participating and being on the panel. I want to thank Mr. Quinten for popping up for the first time. Thank you so much. It was great to have you on. And we'll be doing our plugs here in just a second. I'll turn it over to Mr. Jeff, and he'll take us out.
Most definitely. I will, second that. Coming off of Cyber, Quinten, it was great to have you coming on for the first time, tonight. We enjoyed having you on the show. Hopefully you'll come back, and do another episode of The Last of Us, before the season's over. We've got other episode reviews to do, so hopefully we'll be able to bring you back. We'll start off with you on the plugs, and we'll go over to Apple Podcasts for Superhero Homies, and you can go ahead and take over.
All right. Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. First of all, it's been a real honor and pleasure being on this show. You guys are excellent, and just had a blast being on here and discussing this episode of Last of Us. So some things coming up on the Superhero Homies podcast. We actually just reviewed the movie Sinners. So you guys want to get our review of that. It is the latest episode that we did. First half of that review is spoiler free. Second half is spoiler filled. So just be careful of that. In terms of upcoming episodes, we will be reviewing Andor season 2. I know you guys are going to be doing that as well. And we're also covering The Last of Us as well on the Superhero Homies as well. That'll be broken down into 2 distinct episodes. We're just going to split the season in half. We also have, of course, the Thunderbolts review coming up as well. And we are also we are in the middle of a long journey of reviewing every single Fantastic Four movie until Fantastic Four First Step comes out. We even reviewed the classic 1994 unreleased Fantastic Four movie. That was a trip. Our next Fantastic Four movie review is going to be the 2004 Fantastic Four movie, and then we're just going to continue on down the line. We have a lot of things in the pipeline, and for sure, guys, check out the Superhero Homies podcast.
All right. Excellent. Andres, the pop culture guy.
Yes. I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. It was great to see you, Quint. It was awesome to have you here in the podcast. As always, just posted my latest content. Recently, I just posted my review on American Werewolf in London, the Andreas Book Culture as Respected / View. You can check that out. I just recently put a new short. It's the introduction of Catwoman from Batman Returns. Check that out. I'm right now working on putting out the live stream for the next live stream review. Me, Jeff, and hopefully Sarah can join us for Avengers Age of Ultron for next this Sunday coming up. So that's going to be fun. And speaking of Fantastic Four, I have good news with that. It's later on in June. I'm also going to do a build up to the Fantastic Four movie, because of the new movie coming out in July. That's going to be fun with my my old co-host I used to work with. Is going to come back to do just the two story ones, and I had to talk to Jeff about doing the worst one. Oh my God, Fantastic. Oh boy, it's not going to be fun, but hey, I had to do it. And just check out other content we just did. Top 10 MCU, top MCU phase tier list we did 2 weeks ago. That was fun. Terror 2 discussion. Me, Jeff, and Cyber did. That was really fun. Especially when we saw him, getting hit with the 2 arrows. It's like it's like so iconic, and of course he hates bats for some reason, like despite he's an animal lover. But yeah, so thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It was a blast.
Okay, thank you, Andres, the pop culture guy. Always good to see you contributing on the panel tonight, sir. We'd love having you on the show. Cyber, it's all you, sir.
All right. So, folks, as always, if you enjoy me as a moderator or as on the panel, you can check out my solo content. You'll find me under Cyberneticshark. You'll find me on YouTube, TikTok, X, Instagram, Patreon, Threads, pretty much any social media platform you'll find me on. As you can see there, my most recent trailer reaction is for Megan 2.0, which will be coming out on June 27th, which is my birthday. So I can't wait to see that on my birthday. It's going to be so much fun. Check out that trailer reaction. It's really fun. I think it looks crazy as hell and looks hilarious. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then, of course, my most recent review was The Day the Earth Flew Up, a Looney Tunes film, which was a fantastic 2D animated film that they haven't done in a really long time. So it was great to see one of those. And that film was absolutely freaking hilarious. If you have not seen it, highly recommend check that out. On my shorts, I recently have done a few new ones today. I just recently watched a whole bunch of movies over the last couple days. Watched G20, watched Companion, watched I saw a TV Glow. I watched Your Monster. I watched the Superman, the Christopher Reeve story documentary, the Y2K film. I mean, I watched a whole bunch of stuff recently. If you haven't seen any of those, check out my little mini reviews of those. Great. A few of them are great. One of them is stupid as hell. But otherwise, most of them were pretty decent and fun stuff. More trailers, reactions, more reviews coming. More shorts, of course, will be coming soon as well. So keep your eyes out for that, guys. Just huge thank you to everyone out there that supports the channel. And thank you for those that support here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the MCU's Bleeding Edge so you don't miss any one of our live stream reviews and all that kind of good stuff. I want to thank everyone for, like I said, once again, for being on the panel tonight. You guys were all awesome. And the winner tonight, just forgot, winner tonight is, of course, our newest guest, Mr. Quinten. You are the big winner tonight. You win the fan prize of woohoo this tonight. Yes. So you are the amazing award winner tonight. And thank you for, like us once again, for coming on. You were great. And hope to see you soon again, sir. And keep on trucking, keep on watching us, folks, and keep on subscribing to all of us. Check out all of our prod stuff, and we thank you.
That's right, folks. The MCU's Bleeding Edge is a podcast. Follow and rate the pod. We appreciate everybody out there. We will see you again for Andor episode 1 on Friday. Thank you, Cyber, for moderating tonight. You did a great job. Great to see you again, Quinten. Andres, we'll see everybody later. Peace.
Tavares, right in the butt.